Hi, this is going to be our video on the Rockland Stakes rescue kit, or the rescue kit I use at work for roof rescue. So this is a set of fours. I call it the Tate set of fours, or the T4s, because this is kind of my design. So if you've designed the same similar system, you can name it whatever you want to. But for right now, this is what it is. This video is not meant to replace training. This video is a refresher course on training you've already had to remember some of the parts of the kit. Now, our kit comes with 200 feet of 11mm cord, the set of fours, and 2 chest descenders for hooking onto rope if we need to pull out a belay device or anything like that. So if we need to go through that problem, and we're actually going to hook directly onto a rope for rescue. Now, what makes our system special is for the systems that we are going to be using it on the rope swing, or the giant swing, or the zip line tower, or the actual zip line itself, it will reach all the way to the ground. So you'll be able to do everything with one kit, a lift and lower all in one kit. So the first things we're going to see here is we have our 11-year-old person here as our bucket here. I don't know if you guys can see that yet, but we have our bucket here as our weight. So we've now put them on a static line. So we're saying that they are on a static line we cannot cut. And the areas where that would be anywhere where there's a main cable attachment. So that is right now the zip line and the giant swing. So both of those are static lines we won't be able to clip into. So what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and come up to it. We've got a person that's either passed out or is not able to help themselves off the rig. So we go ahead, we pull our rig out. Comes out just like this. Now it comes in short, so we're going to go ahead and kick the bag off. We're going to go ahead and we can go up to the very top, and we're going to clip into something that is structural. Now in our systems, that's either a tie-on point on the roof, or it is a system that would be a cable or any main structural beam that we could use. So we're going to go ahead and use this piece of webbing here that's already here and pretend that is our cable or our main attachment point we can use. And now here's what's different about our system versus everybody else's system. Because we're using an Eddy belay device right here, and we put it in the middle of the system, we're able to just bring it right down to the person, and as long as we don't pull or jerk, it will go right down to the person just by lifting up the rope just like this. So we do not have to have another person tending the prusik to lower it down, or we do not have to have, if we put, like, let's say a Sur or a lorry belay device, we would actually have to have it to where they'd have to hold onto the button and lower the person down. Because we're using an Eddy, which works really good in this situation, we can go ahead and lower it right down without having to do that. So we're going to go ahead and clip right into the person's belay ring, and since they're static, we now have to pull them up. Now as soon as we pull up, the belay device will lock. So as we were able to pull down before, now we can't. So now it is locked, even with this small amount of bucket weight on here. So even this is the reason we started to design this, was so we could have it for the smaller girls that would be at our camp, that they would not be heavy enough to enact the old system we had. And sometimes even the prusik, because the prusik is so loose that it wouldn't be able to do that. Now you can see here that now we have no weight on the belay device, or on their rig, whatever that is that they're attached to. We can unconnect that. Now we still never let go of the rope here, so I usually have a backup belayer on the ground that's going to be able to hold on to this. Keep in mind, we've lifted up to 600 pounds with this system fairly easy. Now what we can do now is we can have our person up top go ahead, grab the descent knob here, and we can literally lower that person. All we're doing with the Eddy is just releasing pressure. It is not meant to lower from this point. We are not sitting there and controlling the lower. We're controlling the lower with our opposite hand. I can lower them all the way to the ground with just one apparatus. Now what happens if I jerk too hard? So let's say I take my handle and I pull too hard. It relocks. And I have to reset the belay device and start again. So we can't even drop the person too fast. So usually what I look at is about a 90% angle on the belay device is about where the sweet spot is on the belay device. And I can go ahead and lower it all the way to the ground. I let go, it relocks. So if I'm pulling and I have lost control and I let go, the system locks. So it's, in my opinion, much better than the old standby system of a prusik knot that has to be minded up here, and we have to keep in charge that's making sure. I've watched those slip if they're not perfectly dressed, where with this device, every single time it lowers it down, even with this tiny amount of weight we have on here. Now, the reason this works is because the Eddy over the Lori and some of the other belay devices out there has a system in it that allows us, so we're going to go ahead and put it right back on. So we're going to go ahead and lower it back down onto its rig here. So we weighted it back onto the rig. And now we can go ahead and set it so that we can go ahead and lower the rig back down. So what I'm saying by that is if I go ahead and we get the rig all the way dressed up, and it will slide nice and easy until it's weighted. And now I can just sit there and bring it right down to the person. You'll notice if I didn't connect it onto the ladder here, I can bring it down just as fast as I need to until it is jerked. Now what happens if we're using this on, like say a low angle rescue, and I'm using this as my device and I'm pulling it out with me as I go. So if I trip and fall, what happens? The system locks, because it resets itself with a jerk. Pull right back up. Now it's back into lowering mode, and it lowers it all the way to the ground. So I don't have to worry about having what I used to do with all of our old setups is I'd leave the bottom pulley 20 feet down, so I knew I could just hook it up, but that was causing tangling in the pulley system. This system allows me to be able to go all the way up, keep it nice and tight, and as you'll notice, because of our system here, how tight that is up top, how we can actually pull right into the belay device. And now I can just go ahead and lower it all the way down just as fast as I want to go. Even in a hurry, that's not going to catch unless I jerk. Or I put weight on it, even this bait, like I said, even this barely minimal amount of weight. If I sit there, hook it in, and give it its first pull, it automatically locks. Just with that 2.5 gallons of water in the bucket. So that's roughly 16-20 pounds worth of water in here. So hopefully you're not lifting anything smaller than 20 pounds with this particular rig, otherwise you could probably just pull them up with your hand. So at this point I'm able to go ahead and pull them up, and if I even let go, it locks. Said go, let go, it locks. Now do I recommend letting go? No. It is a backup to you. So now that we've got the person completely off the rig, we're able to sit there, pull them off, without cutting their lines or anything like that. Now we are able to come all the way back up, and usually I do this with 2 people, one person pulling it down to the person, one person minding the system, but you can do it all at once. I can lower them all the way down. Because there's 200 feet of rope, I can lower them 50 feet onto the ground. Now here's one thing that is actually a little nicer in this system. Because the belay device is in the center versus the end, there's no slut, there's no tension on the handle that won't allow me to be able to use it. Now the other thing that's really nice is I can lower all the way to this point right here, and even if I wanted to, I can actually pull it completely through, all the way through, and lower them down all the way to the ground with another 100 feet of rope. Because remember, we're able to lower them 50 feet, but if I take out this pulley completely out of the system, I can lower them even lower down on a longer, a larger roof, things like that, where only having to hold on to one line. So it takes a lot of the problems out that you have with really short runs. So this system allows us to be able to lower down from the belay tower, or the rappelling tower, the zip line tower, the zip line recovery area, and the giant swing, plus 2- and 3-story roofs at 50 feet tall, maxed out. And like I said, even then, even if we had something even longer than that, we could still get rid of this pulley if need be after the haul, and actually pull this pulley out and use that whole extra amount of rope to lower the person even down again. So that allows them to have a lot more leeway, that we can actually lower from this point, this haul rope here, instead of this haul rope over here. So I hope this was helpful. Like I said, this is a refresher course to things we've already done. If you have questions, please leave them in the bottom. If you're gonna, if you have something you would like to maybe talk about, see other belay devices we've used. We've tried Grigory's, we've tried Eddy's, we've tried, not Eddy's, but we've tried Sir's, Lori's. I've tried a lot of different belay devices. This is the belay device that works best for this situation and allows us to get all the way down to the ground in one simple action. So, as always, have a great day and thank you very much.